it takes you longer to find a link in your business than to stand in line for your favorite drink at Starbucks, we need to talk. My name is Rhonda, and I help busy moms organize their business. And this is Business Plan of Action, sponsored by Trello, my favorite productivity tool. See why one of my clients says, "You have given me back 5 hours this week alone." Let's get into today's episode. In today's episode, we're going to address the question, when is it time to delegate in your business? And I think you'll find that it is sooner than you think. I'm going to address this question in 2 different ways. Number one, from the standpoint if you were just starting out in your business and you're bootstrapping, and then 2, the seasoned business owner. If you stick around to the end, I have a suggestion, even when you're starting out, on ways that you can already start to delegate in your business, because we know that when we delegate, that means more of a cost. So I have a strategy that I want to share with you. All right. So the whole idea about delegation almost makes me cringe. It used to make me cringe. I am a very A-type personality. I had this superwoman mentality, meaning that even though I had all of these volunteers to help, I felt like I should still stay at my event till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and sort clothes. If you don't already know, I built a children's seasonal consignment sale. We started with 100 consigners, and today's event, we cap registration at 750 participants. I cannot do it alone. It has gotten to the point where I'm very dependent on my volunteers. We have over 400 now, and without them, literally, we cannot run the event itself. And so I had a situation where we went through a huge growth spurt. And I actually had, at the time, didn't know, my volunteer coordinator come up and say, "Hey, do you need some help?" Because I had everything up here, whether it was training the volunteers, answering volunteer questions, answering consignor questions, asking customer questions, and I wasn't really doing any of those jobs up to the level where they needed to be. I had workflows, I had systems in place, but the problem is that I was only able to spit them out very quickly. She recognized that I was at a point in my business where I needed to delegate. I probably should have delegated responsibility a lot sooner than I did. So here's the thing. I believe that you need to have this number one rule in place before you even consider delegating in your business, and that is to have established systems, workflows, and checklists in place. So let's just break that down really quickly. A system is, say for example, if you're a blogger, a system is writing a blog post. If you're a podcaster, producing a podcast. Social media manager is social media. Your workflow is a checklist, and that is everything A to Z that needs to be done in order to complete that system. And I like to include everything in the kitchen sink and implement it, rinse and repeat, see what works, see what doesn't. And what works is good, what doesn't, we need to alter, and then it's just a constant fluid checklist that I use. Even to this day, 14 years later, we're still making tweaks, because it's always my goal that my customer who comes in, whether you're a consignor or a shopper, that you have a positive experience. And in my business, it would be really easy for me to become stagnant and not make any of those changes because, well, we've got 750 consigners. But that's not the case. I always want them to know that we're on the cutting edge of technology and that we're making changes based on their feedback. We're listening to our customer at all times. So that in and of itself will help me achieve the mission of making sure they all have a positive experience. So not only implementing this rule of systems, workflows, and checklists, you're setting yourself up for success. You are doing today what you can do tomorrow, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. I implemented systems 14 years ago that I'm still using today. The event itself runs on systems. Those systems are supported by these checklists. You are building a solid foundation, not fly by the seat of your pants, a solid foundation for success. And it also makes it a really easy transition when you are ready to delegate, say, content. You have someone that is writing a blog post. So it is easy then for you to say, all right, the system is blog post. The workflow and the checklist is everything that I do each and every time that I create a blog post. What makes it really easy in today with all the technology is that you have Zoom and Loom and Soapbox, all of these free screencasting, screen recording software systems that are out there. And my favorite out of all of those is Loom. And the reason is that it integrates seamlessly with Trello. And you know Trello is close to my heart. It is what I use in my business, in my homeschool, in my life, in my home, when I'm away, each and every day. So it's really easy as you're setting up these systems to, as you go, create tutorials. Because here is where I see the problem when people go to delegate. They think that they're really busy because they're always running and they're always putting out fires. They don't have established systems in place. They bring someone on board who has a specialty, which I think that they're trying to replace themselves, but they bring someone on board that has a specialty. Because there's no system, it is really hard to meet that expectation. And if you don't have a system, then you're not going to have a checklist. So you don't know if they're doing it right, doing it wrong, how long it's going to take. It ends up being a hot mess that you're pulling someone else into, and you're setting them up for failure. It's going to take them more time, and you're going to spend more money, and you're going to have more frustration if you don't have this solid foundation. I think that systems and workflows and checklists, number one, obviously they increase productivity. You can get really fast. You become really efficient. That whole idea of that you know how long it takes to do something. But don't make the mistake to say that it only takes me an hour to write a blog post. You want to tack on more time for someone else to do it because you've become really efficient. And as you go along with your team member, they're going to be efficient too. But just know that you need to probably give them some grace when they start. And I love the consistency aspect of having these systems and checklists in place. Because when you pass something off, it's not like it changes in terms of the voice or the excellence in the product that you're producing. That consistency should always be there. So here's the big question then, Rhonda. I know all of that stuff. Okay, so when should I be delegating in my business? I believe you should be delegating as soon as you start making consistent money in your business. When you can consistently cover your bills, you have a little bit of excess, that is when you need to take that money. It's not a part of the family budget. I know it's so tempting to do that because you're so proud, you're so excited. Take that money and reinvest it back in your business. You will thank me for it in the long run because that money is not a part of what your family is doing right now. It is not a part of that budget. Don't let it be a part. We are building now. We're building for the future. So we've talked about producing productivity. We've talked about efficiency. We've talked about delegating. So here's the thing. When you delegate, I want you to be really specific in what you delegate. I don't want you to get into this situation where you have written a job description. I see it all the time in private Facebook groups. The job description replaces himself, or it's really vague. I need a social media manager. What does that mean? Because I really feel like all of the platforms, Facebook is its own bird. You've heard me say this before. Pinterest is its own platform. Pinterest, you should be using Pinterest SEO. What are the best groups? What are the best tribes? What is the best strategy to be using? What kind of templates are people using now? You need someone who specializes just in Pinterest. Don't even get me started on Instagram. And then there's YouTube. You really need to specialize in your delegation. Not only are you going to see the productivity, but you are going to see growth. And really, the only way that you know, I'm just going to kind of give a side note, the only way that you know in terms of social media what you should be doing is if you're looking at Google Analytics. If you've hired someone for Facebook and 90% of your traffic is coming on Pinterest, that doesn't fit. If 90% is coming from Pinterest, I want to take where I'm already at right now, and I want to go to the moon. So I want to be focusing on Pinterest. As soon as I have success with that, maybe I want to work on my next goal is working on Facebook or bringing in someone to help me with Facebook. But right now, If my traffic is coming from Pinterest, that is where I want to go. The biggest key is, though, you want to specialize. The goal is not to replace yourself. And again, I'm just going to say this, if you don't have the systems in place for those people who are seasoned business owners, don't go looking to hire people and bring people onto your team. It's going to stress you out. You're going to spend more time, more money, more frustration, and the whole, well, I tried a VA once and it didn't work. It didn't work because you weren't ready. You may have been ready, but it's an easy remedy to go back and to document these systems, document the workflows, put the checklists in place, and even put the tutorials in place. All right? So here's the thing, you waited to the very end, and I even said if you were bootstrapping your business, just starting out, how can you go ahead and have money coming in from whatever venture? If you're a blogger, maybe a podcaster, my recommendation to you is to offer a service. It's just that easy. Offer a service. And that may be that you do general VA admin work, or you may specialize in email marketing. If you know how to write an email sequence, there are people dying to meet you. If you know, since you've got 90% of your traffic coming from Pinterest, pick up a couple of clients. Get a steady amount of income coming in. It's covering your expenses. It's giving you some padding, and it's an opportunity for you to take that now and reinvest it into your business. I always say two things about business. Number one, email marketing is the cornerstone of your business. I don't care what they say about all the social media platforms. You own all of your emails, and I've done it for 14 years. And the second thing is to diversify your income streams. So if you're a blogger or even a podcaster, ultimately you want to have a digital product, that's great. It would not hurt. It is not a failure. It is not beneath you to be a VA for someone. Almost look at that as your client as a mentor. Learn from them. You are getting paid to learn. You are getting paid to build your business. I have clients myself. I diversify my revenue streams is that I have my event that I've had for going on 15 years. I have a few clients that I do work with. I manage a Facebook group, which offers a membership. And then I offer moms help on how to organize their business through a small course, Productivity Ninja. So that's like 5 revenue streams there. And I really want to get into affiliate marketing. I haven't done that yet, but that's something that I'm interested in doing. It's something that just continues to feed my passion as an entrepreneur. And I think that, again, the sooner you can start delegating those things that are not your unique voice, the thing that you can only do, your productivity and the growth in your business is going to skyrocket. Now, here's what I've got for you. I love, love, love these goodies. And I surveyed my group. I surveyed my peeps, and they said, we absolutely love your templates. The done-for-you templates totally work. And here's the thing. They're not printables where you print them out and they get lost. You throw them in your purse. They're in the car. You don't know where they are. You've written all over them. Kid spits up. They're not that. They're digital. So you have a template, and you can rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Even if you're just interested to see on all of the key points that I do when I publish a blog post. What do I think is important when it comes to Pinterest? Or what do I do when it comes to client onboarding? There are 3 workflows that I have in place for you. It is so easy. Go to the bottom of this post, the very, very bottom of this post. Click on which one you want. Take all 3. I want them to give them as a gift to you because it is critical, it is crucial, I feel, to your success and take you on that journey to delegating in your business to get these systems and workflows in place. All right, guys, until next week.
You have been listening to Business Plan of Action. For today's show notes and links, go to businessplan-of-action.com. Until next week, what action are you taking in your business?